Okay, I thought I would finally answer this question, and it might be long-winded, so I would recommend putting this on double speed. I'm also going to try to make this as least opinionated as possible. That being said, I did ask a teammate of mine, Morgan Hens, who plays for Atlanta Vive PVF, and just to get all the correct information I could. Okay, let's talk about the biggest difference. Now, I think for me, the biggest difference is how the leagues were started. While the League One Pro team is starting this year, League One has actually been operating for quite a bit by building the clubs. And basically, their model and way of going about it is by creating a ecosystem where they go around and buy up or create like love clubs. So let's say, for example, A5. That's the club that Atlanta Love is partnered with, and they are now a love club. And basically, what this does is create this foundation with the youth teams that will eventually feed into the pro teams. So that was their intention behind everything. That's the model. They believe that by creating an ecosystem, this is going to create the most sustainable league that's going to last kind of the test of time. Now, PVF is more traditional as like what you see with major leagues like NBA, NFL. They have a president of each team. They'll have a GM and front office basically constructing each team. Now let's talk about some of the differences within the league. So PVF uses the Franklin ball, and they have a different challenge system. League One is using the Mikasa, the same ball you use internationally, and they have the normal challenge system. PVF season will be 28 games this year. Ours will be 22, I believe. PVF season, the league starts preseason in December, and then they start their play in January going into May, whereas League One, we start in November per preseason, December preseason, starting our first game January 8th. And our last game is April 13th. This year, PVF has 8 teams, while League One this year will have 6 teams. And then lastly, I think League One has 14 girls per team and then added 1 from college. And PVF, I believe they start with a bigger roster, and then before the season starts, they come down to maybe 15, but I would need to be double checked on that. And they do a draft with the girls in college, so you'll see quite a few college players playing in PVF. Okay, and now for my, I guess, personal opinions on everything. In a perfect situation, there'd be one league that we're all pouring our money, effort, and time into, but obviously that isn't the case. And I guess what I try to view it as is more opportunity for women. If we had just one league, there might not be as many spots for players to have contracts and be able to play professionally, and so now we have 2. And is it imperfect? Yes, but there's plenty of spots for people who want to play pro, and I see this as a plus. I can't speak to why players choose which league and what their motivations are when they're choosing a contract. For example, for me, every single year, I have an agent who represents me, and he brings me the contracts for each team and what the offer is financially and what the team will look like, who's playing for it, how competitive they'll be. And so that's basically how I make my choices. With Love, I've been with them since about 2020, kind of having conversation, giving feedback from a player's perspective. So when it came time to sign, and it was about 2 years ago. Okay, I'm just going to insert this real quick because Maddie and I were discussing all the differences, and I forgot to note that when you sign to League One, you sign to the league, and so you're not signed to a team, and they actually place you on a team. And I believe with PVF, it's the traditional format because they do have a president and GM of each team. I don't know what the future holds for volleyball in our country, but I do really believe that it is an exciting time to be playing it, and not just for the current generation, but I think for the future generation. First serve is January 8th at the Gateway Arena for League One. So if you are in Atlanta area, please come watch and support us. We are so excited for the start of the league.